Hey guys, what's up? I just wanted to cover my last 3 day trades that I took like 2 weeks ago and 1 week ago, and we're gonna start with the oldest one. So this was Wednesday 2 weeks ago. We see here on the 4 hour time frame that we swept an inducement high in the market, and this is premium territory for intraday shorts, and that's what I was looking for. And once we had that initial sweep, the market chopped its way up one last time to re-sweep that, and then I had a nice break of structure below all these lows here, closing below. I was a little waiting for extra confluence here. I didn't want to pull the trigger right away here on the first M5 break of structure, so I was waiting for my M15 to confirm that bears took over control now. And you see on the M15 that we had also an M15 break of structure closing below the previous low here, and then we had a second push down candle and we formed a nice fair value gap on the M15. So that convinced me that bears are probably gonna take over control, and that's why I had this short idea. So on the M5 you see as well that we have basically this one base candle, and this is basically this first leg, one base candle, second leg, so 2 consecutive fair value gaps here. That is nice to see, and we also form exact equals here. So I didn't want to over refine my entry. I saw enough. I was convinced that we're gonna come lower here, and basically once this candle started rejecting, I just entered, because I was expecting the market to probably just mitigate this first imbalance here and then sell off. It was an AUD USD trade, and I've seen recently a lot that when it starts dumping, it doesn't fuck around for long, but just sells off. So I wanted to be in the trade here after the rejection. And as you can see, I was just not right on correction, on direction this day. It was a quick stop out, not really any signs of bear control at all after the entry. It happens. And when I go a little more forward here, you can see that it wasn't a trap or anything. It was just being wrong on direction, because on the next day it actually made higher highs. So the market was just not ready in general to short off from here. And yeah, I was just wrong on this one. So this is the next trade. It's still AUD USD. So this was the loss of yesterday, of the previous day. And on the next day, which is here, I took another shot at shorts. But this time we swept the extreme here, which is always nice to see. I think sweeping external liquidity is always better than internal, because it's just more stop losses being triggered there, more institutional orders laying behind or beyond an external liquidity pool compared to an internal. So I thought from a liquidity standpoint, this was an even better trade than the one of yesterday, of the day before. So this was 5th of June. We sweep external liquidity. Let's see how that looked on the M5. So here again, we sweep this, give it one last resweep, and then we have a nice shift in momentum. Strong push down, one base candle here, then another strong push down. So we have 2 legs on M5, which is beautiful. We have 2 consecutive fair value gaps on M5, and on the M15 as well. Look at how bearish this candle closes. Another rather bearish close here, giving a huge fair value gap on M15. This is always nice to see. And this is one of those instances where you don't really see a break of structure, because the structural low is so far away from the sweep. So this is not a break of structure play, so to speak, but I confirm it with the 2 M5 legs and just the super bearish leg forming here on M15 with the huge fair value gap. So for me, that was enough to justify a short. After we sweep external, I thought we're gonna at least go for some internal liquidity intraday, which would be a session low. We can also see that the session right away opened super bullish, which is always a sign that it's most likely gonna come back once to make a lower low during the session. And also a nice short territory in general. We sell from above 830 high, 830 price, and above the midnight price. So we are clearly at the high of the day as well, which is always mandatory for me. And yeah, so this was a nice trade. I think was very, very premium setup. And I took it actually by limit order here, because this was already looking so choppy. It didn't look at all as if it's gonna sell off again, because this demand here only making this wiki candles with very tiny bodies. That was confirmation enough. So I just put my limit onto the M5 order block here, which is also basically within the beginning of the M15 fair value gap. So high likelihood of getting triggered and filled. And this candle tagged me and then instantly rejected, which was very nice to see. And let's play this out. So we instantly make a lower low here. Then price slowed down a little because it was getting late in the day. But we ultimately, what did we keep doing? We sweep an inducement. Very choppy down here, which is nice to see. So every up movement was choppy and every down movement was forming fair value gap. So this trade looked very healthy. And ultimately, it was a nice winner. And you see it, right? Everything that was going up was so choppy and wicky, and everything every down impulse was just strong and decisive. And you can really see how the institutional traders really took over here. You can see that very nicely. So I thought this was very nice price action, was a beautiful winner. Very happy with it. Now it's one more trade that I gotta cover. Let me jump to it and then we'll get into it. So thanks for meeting me back on the charts. This is EU now. This is Tuesday. And this is the 1 hour chart. Okay, so on the 1 hour we see here this setting up. This swept 2 inducement highs, or if you want to count this, even 3 inducement highs. So a lot of 1 hour liquidity swept. Also on the 4 hour you can see that quite some highs are being swept here. Also previous days high being swept. So from a liquidity standpoint, nice sweeps. And we also fill this fair value gap here on the 1 hour. So this is a nice supply area. Why? Because it itself swept an inducement, then led to a massive sell-off, closing below multiple 1 hour structure points. So this is a nice fresh supply area that comes beyond some inducement highs here. So liquidity perfect, supply and demand perfect. Let's see how this looks on the lower time frame. So we sweep all the inducements, then we chop around. Price is clearly stalling and not finding enough buyers to push itself higher. So ultimately this is just a small accumulation, and then you see institutional candles here, fully bearish. We break this structure point. We also close beyond this structure point. So we have a double close break of structure, which is very nice to see. And then it stays down and accumulates again, which ultimately on the M15 also creates one strong push down candle and then some nice wicks that ultimately caused this fair value gap to form. So this had everything that I wanted to see, you know, one super strong M5 push closing below multiple structure points, and the M15 confirming that with a nice bearish close followed up with a fair value gap. So I thought this was very high quality. I thought we're gonna probably take out all this balanced price action. You see how balanced that is, and with a big nice demand in the bottom waiting for mitigation. So I thought this was very likely to play out, and I didn't want to make any gambles here in terms of getting filled or not. So I didn't want to put my limits up here or something. I just market executed in here. And thank God, because if I would have waited any longer, it would have missed me. And yeah, one initial nice push down, then a second push down. So this trade was looking very healthy. But then, as you can see, price action got very slow late in the day. And we started accumulating a lot of liquidity here. So let's see what this actually does. And let's read into it, okay? So we form equals, then we form this shallow trend line here, and you see how this just adds liquidity. So for me it was okay to hold this trade because it still has so many reasons to come lower, right? And we also have this huge supply zone here, completely unmitigated so far. So I have valid points of reversal before my stop loss where price can go in and then reverse back down, you know. So I was not managing because I have to, as a trader, you have to find out if you're right or wrong. And sometimes the price action tells you that you're probably wrong, but you're still in profit. In that case, you should just close or at least go break even. But sometimes it just has to go to your, it has to go in drawdown without it telling you that you're wrong, because you still have reversal points, you still have points of interest in your drawdown. So in that case, that was the case, and you just have to, in my opinion, just have to find out if you're right or wrong. Like price has to come into this area sometimes before it shows you if you're right or wrong. And yeah, in that case, this was still screaming that I'm right, because it's just forming so much liquidity. Once we swept this inducement, we came instantly down again. So what is price gonna do? We failed to break here, so most likely, from what price showing so far, no bullish intention, no bullish momentum, we will probably just have to come a little higher to collect a little more orders to then push lower. That's how it presented itself to me. So I was, even though this was super late and this was already the next day of price action, I just let it do its thing, you know. It's gonna sweep this inducement one more time, filling this or tapping this M5 order block here to the T, as you see. Sweeping this as inducement, and then instantly the next institutional orders come in, and ultimately we come lower here very nicely. And here, honestly, this was just a feeling thing. I felt like this, now that we have taken out all this liquidity, this is already the next day, this is Asia session. This was a little iffy for me to hold now, because it's just, it's one session later, a new day can mean new liquidity is having to be collected, you know. So I was fine with 1.1 hour here. I just closed it because I didn't want to make a swing trade out of it. This was already so late, you know, and it was just my intuition told me to get out, so I got out. And what you can actually see after is that I was right on that, because ultimately the market just started to play games here, just swept. And this is also something that just often happens, you know, when once you're in the next day with your day trade, you have an Asia low gets swept, and then price reverses. This is just something that happens all the time. So I think it was completely okay to get out of here at this point in time. And I also just wanted to be able to sleep in peace, you know. And ultimately CPI was coming up here on Wednesday, and this sent price completely somewhere else. So yeah, I think I can be happy with that management decision, not just in hindsight that it was correct, but also it just made sense at the time. So I'm happy with that. And yeah, if you remember the last video, that was that NASDAQ turnaround, man, it really hurt me. But I told you in that video in the end that I'm gonna bounce back, and that's what I did. I lost one more, then two beautiful winners. It's yet again my biggest payout yet, coming $3,300 my way. I'm super grateful, man. I love trading so much, and it's great to, after 2 years of putting a lot of effort in, to finally get some financial benefits. And I'm just so happy, man. This is just my thing, trading, man. I love it so much, and I'm just super grateful, man. Not just grateful for the financial side, but also grateful for you showing up to my videos, leaving the love in the comments. So thank you so much. I really appreciate that, and you, and having already over 200 subscribers for me just means the world. So I just wanted to finally thank you for that. Yeah, I'll catch you in the next one, guys. Take care.